We have two water plants. One is located on Glenville Lake off of Filter Plant Drive, and they get our water from Glenville Lake. And we have the Hoffer plant, which is off of Ramsey Street, and that water comes from the Cape Fear River. Our plants use what's known as conventional water treatment. We take the water out of the river, we bring it into the plant, we coagulate any suspended material that might be in the water. The water's then settles. At that point, we use powdered activated carbon to prevent any kind of taste and odor problems. The water is then filtered through a sand and anthracite filter. At that point, we adjust the pH and alkalinity levels to make sure there's no corrosion once the water gets into the distribution system. Then we disinfect that water and send it out into the distribution system. We also add fluoride to protect public health by preventing tooth decay, which is a standard practice for most all utilities in the United States. PWC runs about 118,000 tests a year on our water. We test for things, some of the more common things would be pH, chlorine, fluoride, turbidity, color. Those are the kind of things we test on a regular basis. We also test for inorganics, which are things like cadmium, chromium, copper, nickel, lead, zinc. We test for organic substances, which are more the man-made type chemical compounds like dioxane or some of your petroleum, hydrocarbon type compounds. We test for disinfection byproducts. We do a lot of bacteriological testing out in the system. So we have folks out in the system collecting water samples from over 100 sample sites in our distribution system on a regular basis. So testing our drinking water is important because it's a way of verifying that the plants and the processes that we have in place are working to protect public health and to make sure that our water is in compliance with all state and federal regulations. So I know there's been a lot of talk in the news lately about Gen X, but that facility discharges downstream from our intake, so it's not in our water, and the state has done a lot of testing that's verified it's not found upstream of that facility, and it's not in our drinking water. We've all heard in the news also a little bit about 1,4-dioxane, and I would just say, up front, it's an issue that needs to be addressed, and it needs addressing sooner rather than later. And we've been working with the state regulators to find a solution to get that removed from our source water. The thing we need to remember about dioxane, first of all, is that it's a long-term exposure risk. It's not a short-term risk. The human health criteria that's been published by EPA is based on an individual drinking 2 liters of water a day for 70 years. And at the levels we're seeing in our water, that comes out to a less than 1 in 100,000 chance of developing any kind of health risk over a lifetime of exposure. I think the other thing that's important is that we sort of put that in perspective. If you ride or drive in a vehicle, your lifetime odds of being killed in a motor vehicle crash are about 1 in 600. And then you've got to consider too, it's a lifetime exposure, and we don't anticipate this being in our water anywhere near that long. We expect a solution, in the next couple years. And I'm proud to be employed at PWC, and I'm proud of the work we do to protect our water and to provide safe, clean water to our customers. And here again, I drink the water every day, and I feel very safe and confident that the product we provide is a good quality product.
At Fayetteville's Public Works Commission, people make the difference.
I'm Letitia, a customer service representative for PWC.
Letitia and her colleagues are committed to providing excellent customer service, whether it's on the phone, face-to-face, or behind the scenes, making sure you have convenient ways to communicate and pay your bills. At PWC's website, you can review your many payment options, manage your account online, check your usage, and find useful tips to conserve power and water.
PWC gets its raw water from two different sources. The first source being the Cape Fear River, which PWC gets about 80% of its raw water. The other water source is the Glenville Lake. The water treatment process starts with raw water coming into the plants. The water goes through some mixers and we add chemicals to it, the main chemical being ferric sulfate. After the water moves through the mixers, it goes through our flocculator basins. When the flock is formed, we go to our next process, which is our sedimentation process. In that process, the larger particles of flock fall out into the sedimentation basins, and from that process, the water moves on to our filter process, which in that process, we remove the smaller particles of flock. Once the water moves through our filter process, it goes to our clear wells. Once the water reaches our clear wells, it is pumped out into our distribution system, which goes out to the public. From the time the raw water comes into our plants and reaches our clear wells, that could be 5 to 6 hours, and from there, within another 12 to 24 hours, it'd be pumped out to the public. The annual water changeover occurs during the month of March, when we stop adding ammonia as part of our disinfection process and switch over to a free chlorine residual. The state requires all utilities who use ammonia as part of its disinfection process to switch over to a free chlorine residual to help control any biological growth that may have occurred in the distribution system. Other utilities that use chloramines and switch over to a free residual include the cities of Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, Johnston County, and Harnett County, to name a few. Some of the changes that customers may experience is a slight chlorine smell to their water. When we're on chloramines, you really don't have that smell. But with a free chlorine residual, you may have a slight chlorine smell, something that might resemble a swimming pool smell. When we're going through the process, we also do some hydrant flushing, so they may notice a little discoloration in their water. There will be several hydrants that are flushed, and these hydrants are marked with a cone and a sign stating the purpose of why the hydrant is running or being flushed. Hydrant flushing helps us have a rapid changeover from our chloramines to our free chlorine residual. That way we can get a maximum exposure of the free chlorine to meet the state regulations. The Partnership for Safe Drinking Water is a voluntary initiative made up of the EPA, the American Water Works Association, and other water utilities across the country with the purpose of enhancing the water treatment process. They look at operational procedures, maintenance procedures, and even management procedures to help accomplish this. The overall goal of the partnership is to enhance drinking water quality. We have received awards from the Partnership for Safe Drinking Water. In fact, PWC was the first utility in the state of North Carolina to receive this award back in the year 2000 and every year since, so a total of 15 years. The award is given out to utilities that not only meet the regulatory standards but exceed them. I enjoy doing my job here at PWC as a water treatment operator. We do a lot of tours here at the plant, and it makes you feel good when you can show people the process of the water treatment. You can show them the beginning water coming from the Cape Fear River and the finished product, and they're just kind of amazed at the difference in what the water looks like. So I feel very proud working at PWC, and I think it's a very, very great opportunity for all the operators at PWC to work at the water treatment plants. We feel really great when we go to different conferences and stuff throughout the state, and knowing that we are a previous winner of the best tasting water just gives us a little bit of pride.
Stormwater is rainwater runoff that when it rains, the water that falls on the streets, parking lots, rooftops, runs into the storm drains on the side of the road, and from there it flows directly to a river, lake, or stream without ever being treated. The stormwater program does two things for the citizens of Fayetteville. It helps to manage the runoff by maintaining and upgrading our drainage infrastructure, and we also monitor that runoff by monitoring our creeks and rivers for how the pollution is affecting it, as well as to educate our citizens on how to help prevent pollution for stormwater. Stormwater and wastewater are different. Stormwater is the rainwater that runs off of streets and parking lots, and wastewater is the water that leaves your home whenever you brush your teeth, flush your toilet, take a bath. So those are two very different systems, and they're treated completely different as well. There is a difference between sewers and the storm drainage system as well. The sanitary sewer system is the system that brings the water to and from your home, and then the storm drainage system is the system that captures all of that rainwater. Stormwater is never treated, and anything that picks up along the way, such as oils, grease, trash, all of those pollutants can get carried to our rivers, lakes, and streams as well. Stormwater pollution is managed in a couple of different ways. One, we have a robust education program to help prevent that pollution. We do a lot of things to educate citizens not to throw anything in a storm drain, and then we also monitor our rivers, lakes, and streams to see how pollution might be affecting them, and then to see what's going on and if there's anything down upstream affecting things downstream. There is a stormwater utility fee, and that fee goes to pay for some of our capital improvement projects, which is our drainage infrastructure. It also helps to pay for our water quality monitoring and our quality program as well. Citizens can find more information out about stormwater on our website by visiting fayettevillenc.gov/stormwater. And that's how it works.
PWC residential and small commercial electric customer usage will be built on the time of use rates with on-peak and off-peak hours. That means you'll pay different rates for electricity based on when you use it. Off-peak rates are lower when it costs us less to provide electricity, and on-peak rates are higher during the times when both the demand and cost for electricity increase. Your existing electric meter has the technology to measure your energy usage every hour, so it will record the on and off-peak hour usage. PWC will start billing for the time of use with power used in May, so you'll see it on bills received in June. Here's some things you should know about time of use rates. On-peak hours will be only 4 hours of the day, while off-peak will be 20 hours each day, as well as weekends and holidays. Because the demand for electricity changes depending on the seasons of the year, peak hours are different in the summer and winter months. In the summer, peak hours are in the afternoon, from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. on weekdays. In the winter, peak hours are in the morning, from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on weekdays. And remember, weekends and holidays are all off-peak. So in all, 88% of the hours in a year, you'll have the lowest rate. Learn more about PWC time of use rates and PWC power tools to help you save. Visit us online at faypwc.com.
Water resource engineering here at PWC, we provide assistance to multiple divisions, and within PWC we'll provide assistance to our construction department as far as if they're doing any kind of laying any new pipe or expanding our sewer system in any manner. We'll provide assistance to our water resources, our plant facilities, our water reclamation facilities. We'll provide assistance to those guys, and we also work with developers and engineers to make sure that their new designs are up to our standards. Some of the projects we're working on here in our division at the moment are the Cottonade subdivision water replacement project, as well as the Scottsdale subdivision water main replacement project. Both of those projects we've had some breaks, main breaks in the past. So we decided it was better just to go ahead and replace the water main. The Scottsdale subdivision, we're replacing some old pipe that was installed in the 1950s. It was 6-inch water main, and we're replacing that with 8-inch ductile iron pipe. In the Cottonade, we're replacing the same thing with 6-inch water mains that were installed somewhere the 50s or 60s. So we're going back and replacing those water mains with new PVC 8-inch water mains to better serve the community and make sure that we don't have the breaks that we've experienced in the past. The first thing I tell all of our customers is it's a construction site. You're going to see a mess. The guys are going to be digging in the roadway or just outside the roadway in the right-of-way. So you will see you'll see excavators out there. You'll see a lot of trucks. You'll see a lot of guys out there. Traffic control measures will be put in place. So you will see a construction site going on. You may see pipe stored on the side of the roadway, preparing for the next day. You may see areas of where we have stone and backfill material piled up, but we try to minimize the impact to the community as much as possible and to work with the neighbors there to keep them access to their homes and to maintain service to them at all times. The duration of the projects depend on how long or how much work is going on. The Scottsdale project is about 5,000 feet. It's estimated at about 5 to 6 months, whereas the Cottonade subdivision is almost double the size, but we're estimating it to be about 9 months duration. We've had community meetings on some of these projects where we notify the customers through a letter. Every customer in the subdivision gets a letter, and we explain to them what we're doing. We give them the opportunity to come out and express any concerns that they may have to us. As far as communication during the construction process, our project coordinators are on site. If there's going to be any service interruptions, whether it be water or sewer interruptions, we try to give a 48-hour notice and give them an opportunity to call us and express any concerns they may have with that if they have something going on that day, and we'll try to accommodate anybody's schedule as much as possible. If you have any concerns with something that's going on in the neighborhood, you can call the Water Resources Engineering Department here at PWC. You can talk with one of our office administrators up here and express your concerns, and we will have somebody contact you as soon as possible to alleviate your concerns. We're doing this work to keep a high quality system and to maintain a good quality system for you guys so that in the future we don't have to come back out and you don't experience main breaks, you don't have service interruptions. The whole idea here is to put in a quality system that can sustain for several years to come.
Pop quiz. Do you know what happens to your water when it goes down the drain? I'll give you a hint. It ends up right back where it started, the Cape Fear River. But there are a few steps in between. Learn all about the water reclamation process in today's How Does It Work?
Water reclamation facility is simply a facility that treats used wastewater from either a domestic, commercial, or industrial source. We have two facilities. One is the Cross Creek Water Reclamation Facility, is located across from a botanical garden on Business 95-301, and the other is the Rockfish Creek Water Reclamation Facility off of Old Wilmington Highway in 87. We have approximately 88,000 billed customers. So that would probably calculate out to about 220,000 individuals. Combined, the two facilities treat approximately 28 million gallons per day. We're permitted to treat 46. The wastewater is, once it goes down your drain, it's conveyed from a smaller pipe at your home into a larger collection system pipe, and it's conveyed either by gravity or force main. It's pumped to our treatment facility. So after the water is conveyed to the facility and lifted up into our processes with screw pumps, the water travels through vertical screens of either a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch width. And the purpose of these screens is to capture large debris that we want to remove and we don't want conveyed downstream to our processes because we can't treat them. So after the screening, we have a process called grit removal where we slow the velocity of the water down to allow inorganics to settle out like sand and silt because we can't treat it and it'll just take up space in our downstream processes. After grit removal, we have a process called primary clarification, and basically similar to grit removal, we provide a calm, still environment for solids to settle out and be removed from the process. And the benefit of that is it reduces the amount of treatment that we need in our next phase, which is, we call that secondary treatment. For us, it's an activated sludge process. And this is where the biological component comes in. We utilize microorganisms to break down the waste in the water. And after that, we have a tertiary treatment, or a third stage, which involves sand filtration. We have deep sand filter beds that the water travels through, and then the water is disinfected to kill any pathogens that may be in the water. Well, sludge is a byproduct of our treatment process. So the good thing about the sludge is it's high in nutrients, nitrogen in particular. So we recycle the sludge, take it through further treatment, and use it as fertilizer. After we treat the water and disinfect it, it's discharged back into the receiving stream, which for us is the Cape Fear River. The reason that's important is the Cape Fear River, not only for us, but for downstream users, is a source of drinking water. So if water is being drawn from the Cape Fear River and not returned, then you're going to deplete that water source. So that's our job, is to clean up the used water and return it to the Cape Fear River to sustain that supply. That's how it works.
At Fayetteville's Public Works Commission, people make the difference.
Hi, my name is Randall Cummings and I'm a water treatment plant operator here at PWC.
Randall and his colleagues operate PWC's award-winning facilities for water treatment and wastewater reclamation. They install and continuously maintain our water and sewer lines. And they help PWC provide customers with a clean, safe water supply that exceeds EPA standards. For tips on conserving power, visit PWC's website.
The Wastewater Collection System of the Year award is something that the AWWA, WEA Collections and Distribution Committee kind of borrowed from other states in terms of an award to recognize those utilities that do very well in guarding the stewardship of the resources, maintain a good collection system, minimum environmental issues, good maintenance practices, and things along that line, just to kind of recognize those systems that are doing well. There's 3 categories of the award. They got the smaller utilities that are like 250 miles of collection systems and less. The middle one is, I think, from 250 to 750. That's for the medium-sized organizations, and then the larger organizations have over 750 miles of collection systems that they operate and maintain. So you're not competing the big guys versus the little guys. Yeah, PWC is considered a large system, so we're competing with the larger municipalities of the state, like City of Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, those type larger metropolitan areas. The NC AWWA WEA is the state level organization of the national AWWA, which is the American Waterworks Association, and the WEA is the state level of the National Water Environment Federation, and they're kind of the umbrella organizations that oversee water collection, treatment, as well as the wastewater treatment. It is a pretty big deal. They do a lot of conferences and classes, both for professionals in terms of management, and they also do a lot for the operators, for the folks that are actually operating the plants and out in the field doing the operations and maintenance of both the water and the sewer systems. On a daily basis, some of the maintenance activities that we undertake, we do smoke testing, and that's mostly to determine where stormwater and other non-sewer flows enter our system. We do a lot of closed-circuit television inspection of the sewer mains to determine what condition they're in, see if there's any roots or grease that could potentially cause a problem. They do lateral inspections. They also do a lot of cleaning to remove the grease and the roots from the system. and then based on those inspections, they do repairs to ensure that the system is maintained in a proper manner to continuing to serve the public with minimal service interruptions. In addition to the daily maintenance activities, PWC also has a fairly proactive rehabilitation and replacement program where we, based on what maintenance finds on their daily inspections, we either replace the mains or the manholes. We also have a contract where we go out and put a new liner inside the mains, kind of a trenchless technology, so we don't have to dig up the streets and cause a lot of social and traffic impacts, and they can get a lot of lining and rehabilitation done in a short amount of time. Winning this award is very satisfying because it does show that through all our efforts in the maintenance division as well as in the engineering department, that all of it is recognized by our peers, and that we are doing some good, and that it makes you feel good at the end of the day that you're doing something right and is appreciated by your peers. Winning the Collection System of the Year award, I think, reflects strongly on the leadership of Rick Davis, who's been down there for 20 plus years. He's done a great job with that department. In addition to the Large System of the Year award, we also won the George W. Burke Junior Safety Award, which recognizes the efforts of our safety program at both our Rockfish Water Reclamation Facility and our Cross Creek Water Reclamation Facility. In addition, we also won the Walter J. Corman Safety Award, which recognizes our safe working practices and safety programs at our water treatment plants, Glenville and Hoffer. Winning the 2 awards for the water reclamation facilities and the water treatment facilities kind of is a nice capstone to reflect our good safety program and good safety practices. It's kind of like the icing on the cake. We just achieved 5 million hours of safe working this past month, so it's been a very successful year for us.
The service truck is pretty much a mobile shop, and what it is it's a little bit of the shop put on a service truck, so if anything breaks down in the city of Fayetteville or any other where, we can take the service truck and try to repair the unit so that the unit don't have to come back to the shop. We'll try to go out to wherever the unit is to try to save time, fix it where it's at so that they can keep working instead of coming back to the shop wasting time. We have 2 service trucks in our fleet. My truck is pretty much built for repairs. I have a lot of tools, specialty tools. I have a crane. I can carry a little bit of fluids, but the other service truck is pretty much POL products, such as diesel fuel, a little bit of regular fuel. It carries special types of hydraulic fluids that certain units need that I don't carry on my truck. A typical day for me is like coming in, looking in my window, seeing what I have for the day. It could be a service somewhere in Fayetteville, or it could be a repair. Basically, repairs come first. It could be a tire, or it could be belts. I do a lot of busted hydraulic hoses here in Fayetteville. I guess the best part about my day is not knowing what's going to go on. It could be anything and everything. So I'm only a phone call away for the PWC or the city of Fayetteville. So I do work on a lot of limb trucks and stuff and garbage trucks for the city of Fayetteville that PWC don't have. But for the PWC, we have a lot of bucket trucks and derrick diggers and Terex that the city don't have. My favorite thing about operating the service truck is I get to use everything on it pretty much all the time. You never know what you're going to need every day, so I have pretty much everything I need whenever I need it. So one day I might need the crane, the next day I might need something different. So no matter what I need, I always have it wherever I go. When people see me on the road, they know that I'm Mr. Fix-It. I'm helping people and I love it. And that's how it works.